confuse marrying the one with becoming the one.
Jamal, hold on, wait. You got to bless the people of God. Let me brace myself for it. Now teach.
I can't find the right one. He ain't got this, he ain't got that. And they're expecting what takes 30, 40 years to happen in 3 days. God did not say marry the one. He said they shall become one flesh. That become is a lifetime journey of ups, downs, pains, traumas. We are not talking about something that is easy. Love is hard. You are marrying an imperfect person. As a husband and as a wife, your job is to help heal your spouse's wound. And you got to learn how to work with your spouse's weakness. You are married with their present and their future. I just had to ask the Lord, okay, God, help me as her husband. What I'm seeing is not a thing. This is a Father, help me be what she needs to be so this one can heal.
Yeah. Shout out to dear future wifey. What's up, visionaries?
What's good?
Welcome to another episode of Visions of Love and Relationships. I'm Tonya and I'm joined by my wonderful husband. And we hope you're doing well as usual. And as usual, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe with us because like dear future wifey say, we don't like that shacking up.
We don't like that shacking up. And not only that, is the more subscribers, the more people, like I said, and comment inside the comment section. Let us know your thoughts in the video. Let us know we can improve it. Because the more engagement we get from you guys, the more we'll put videos out here. Because we got a lot of content. And we would love to share more, but like I said, it's based on the feedback and stuff we get. So the deeper, the more engagement we get from you guys, the more we'll come out here, maybe do more lives and stuff. We'll be more engaged if you get more engaged. But as you can see, we're here. We're doing a video, so we would love to share and keep helping you grow. So join the channel if you want to grow in healthiness in your relationship.
Absolutely. So that clip that we just played, that clip was so meaningful, but it plays a part in a lot of reasons why marriages are failing. And for me and Lamont, this is why we do this.
Yeah.
Because we're trying to, our mission is to save some marriages, create healthier marriages. And this was perfect. A lot of reason marriages are failing is because you don't supposed to marry the one. Yeah. You supposed to become one.
And the only way you become one is once you get married, then you actually start working on becoming one. Mm-hmm. Too often many people get married and then all of a sudden you start working on individualism. You start getting in the process of life. You get a job, babies come in the picture, and then a lot of people just start going with the flow of life. And that's working, that's doing all the things that we do to survive. That's working to pay bills, working for food, working for daycare. Yeah. We start just working and we start just going through the process. And we forget that now we're in a marriage, we're in a relationship. We got 3 entities that we need to always attend to. Our personal life, her personal life, and the relationship.
Yeah. And visionaries, how many, you have some?
No.
How many of us out there know that our culture is obsessed with finding the one?
Yeah.
Me. But God's word call us to become the one again. Mm-hmm. And that's through process, partnership, and purpose. Those are some strong pieces to remember. Write that down. Yeah. Process, partnership, and purpose. A lot of times we can't even get through the process.
Yeah. And we don't mean the process of you being abused, you being in an abusive relationship, meaning physically abusive relationship or verbally abusive relationships or toxic cheating going on. Those are some of the process that you don't have to go through.
Right.
That means that relationship is not meant.
Right.
So them are not the processes we're talking about that people need to go through as far as being in an abusive relationship, whether it's verbally or
any kind of abuse.
Physically, any kind of abuse that is abuse, blatant disrespect. then those are relationships that you don't need to go through that process.
Right.
You need to get out. The process of you in that relationship is to get out of that relationship and let that person deal with what they got going on by themselves.
That's right. So think about it like this: if you can't get through that process, then the next two things, partnership and purpose, you don't have to go through.
Yeah.
Get out of that process. And another thing is, a lot of people just still not going through the process of waiting to have sex, or waiting for the moment that God created for married people to have sex. A lot of us just go on and do it before we get married. We don't go through the process that God has aligned for us.
Yeah.
Like if we did that, our eyes would be open a lot. We'll be a lot more aware of who this person is that we about to make our partner and purpose partner for life.
Yeah.
So,
or even for a season.
Because
we got to realize if we get in these situations, we get in small relationships, talking about I'm just occupying this till I find my husband. Then the longer we go down a road that's not meant to go down a road, then the farther we is from the road that we want to go down.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want to just be getting in relationships, getting in situationships that does not lead to the roads you want to go down. If you would get in a relationship, at least you want to know I'm halfway down where I want to be. Maybe I didn't marry him, but I'm not as broken. I didn't let this person broke me, and I'm still on the road, me, and I'm still on the road to I can be somebody's a good wife. I can be a good husband to somebody.
Yeah, which is what I was gonna say as well. Like as long as we going through that process with the wrong person, the further away we pull from who we are, knowing who we are.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's very important for us to know who we are, to know what kind of person we want, or the kind of person, that would fulfill us in a partnership and purpose. So there's a major difference between, again, marrying who you think is right for you and becoming the kind of person who's ready for covenant. Yeah. I see a lot of people out here just treating marriage like it's just not like a walk to the park or something. But marriage is sacred. It's something that God created, for man and woman, but it is sacred because that's something we're doing under God's eyes, so we shouldn't take it so light.
And it's not selfish. I think so many people, they say becoming somebody who's looking for marriage, who's looking to be in covenant with somebody. And you can easily see that, number one, they're gonna say, I want to be married. Mm-hmm. I'm looking to be married. So therefore, if a person's saying that means our words and our actions should be aligned with that of a married person, mm-hmm. or that of somebody who's wanting to get married. That's potential. The first we see somebody got potential to be a husband, so potential to be a wife, they express that with their words. Mm-hmm. So if a person never expressed that with their words of being married, or say, okay, then you got to realize that person doesn't have potential to get married. So you don't want to be going through a process with somebody who doesn't have potential to go where you want to go.
Yeah. So in Genesis 2:24, it reads, therefore a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. Yeah. That's key. They shall become one.
Yeah. That's
not, I'm looking for the right one for me. No. They shall become one.
Yeah. And I can recall, you know what I'm saying, me and my wife, we hitting up on our 20-year anniversary, been married going on 20 years. And we've been together, 22, going on 22 years. Yeah. So, and when we first married each other, neither one of us we saw the potential, but I didn't marry a whole Tonya. She didn't marry a whole Lamont. She married a person that she saw that had potential to be a full version, but we didn't marry each other whole. And we're 20 years in our marriage, and we still learning each other. This is 20 years later. I see a lot of people 20 years marriages, they failing, but we 20 years in our marriage, and we're still learning each other every day. I'm still pruning her. She's still pruning me to be the person, so I can be the man that she needs to be, and I'm pruning her so she can be the woman that I need her to be.
In different seasons.
Because when we first met, that was a season we was young. So what I needed in that season, that she sacrificed that. But now we're in another season, so that means, and a lot of times different seasons, really what it calls for mature growth. It's not so much people say, I know a lot of people say people change, but a lot of times people just grow up and their expectations grow up with them. Now, some people stay low, but many people, they grow up, and that means expect what I expect from you then. I expect more from you now because we older. Naturally, the higher up we get, the older we get, we start expecting more and not taking less for if we want more.
Yeah. So yeah, that's good stuff. So it's important to know that becoming one flesh is not instant. It's a process of alignment, maturity, and also sacrifice.
Yeah.
What do you offer? What are you willing to let go?
Yeah. And that's why I also think it's so extensive because therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother and be joined to his wife. A lot of times people get inside a they get and say, go out here and do this, but they're not joining to their wife. They're not joining to their husband. Mm-hmm. They join it to somebody who's not trying to get married. So therefore, the older you getting inside these relationships with people who's not pushing you more to a married purpose. It actually pushing you farther apart. So you learning and you getting this theology in your mind, not what marriage should be like. Because if you don't know what marriage is until you actually been in a relationship and you actually see what it takes to make a marriage work, make a relationship work. A relationship and marriage is two different things. It can lead to, they all lead to, relationships lead to marriage. But if you're not paying attention, then you can get in that relationship and get in that marriage and treat it just like a relationship. Mm-hmm. Not knowing there's two different things. Marriage, that means we tied together. That means now we got to become one. Like we said, it's a process. So in order to become one, we got to do the work that we need to do to become one. We can't become one if we're doing individual work and not coming together on nothing. So the two will never be the only way you become one. How do you become one? You become one in mind, body, and spirit. You become one in mind, body, and spirit. So that means we got to do a lot of things we got to do. Got to be aligned, mind, body, and spirit.
Yeah. A lot of us are also, and I'm saying us, but we married and we, but I'm saying us. A lot of us today is entering the marriage and we just looking for that person to be. We're looking for the person and the marriage to be perfect, but we're not putting in that preparation for our marriage to be perfect or like we want it. Yeah. And that's the thing. That's the lie of the one. You wanting the one instead of wanting to, prep. Yeah. You have to prep people sometimes. Yeah. You gotta make it mold what you want. Because truth be told, ain't nobody what you want. Yeah. You thought it was. Yeah. You thought it was until you get another person like, oh no, right. I don't like that. I don't like that. No, I can't. They might be the total package look wise or whatever, or they might have the money that you want, but I guarantee you when you get to know them more. Right. And then there's seasons. Again, like there's seasons. Like my baby said, he pruning me to be the wife he need me to be, and me pruning him, but it's for the seasons. Like the people that you're going to marry is going to be what you expect for that season. So you're going to have to do the work. Yeah. You're going to have to put that work in. To prepare for the next season. You're going to either reap a harvest or you're going to get some weeds coming up. Yeah. And the question is, will you be able to get the weeds out when they come up in that pretty beautiful garden? And life is nothing but a garden, but will you be able to get, and most people can't get the weeds out. Because you're not really interested in becoming one. You just want to go through the process of marriage and not knowing when you get married, when you get in a relationship, if you want the relationship, if you want the marriage to work, then you have to work on it. Right. You have, and many times the first thing that we got to do is, what do I need to do to work on this marriage? If you don't know, then you got to ask questions. The good thing we do got Google, we do got YouTube. So I think we live in no better time than right now. If you want to have a successful. And a lot of times we get a lot of these statistics we getting before the internet really came about, before people really started getting a lot of information on the internet now. But now that we got the information about marriage, some people are getting it bad, but now we got a lot of information to actually make the marriage work. But if we don't go out here and get them, the Bible says, seek and the door will be open, knock and but seek and you shall find. Mm-hmm. So if you're not seeking, if I want a healthy marriage, I want a healthy relationship, the first thing I need to do is seek. Then all of a sudden, the door is going to be open. What I need to seek? I need to seek the problem areas that we have in our relationship so we can grow together. And growing together means what? You got to get intimate with each other. That means intimate. You see, I got to see the wounds. I got to see the scars. Like the dude said, you don't marry
You don't necessarily see a weakness person. You got to see a person for their wounds. And you're able to see the wounds why when you get intimate with the person. So you're able to see inside of them to see, so you can prune this person. They say, you got bad spots in you, or that I know we can do, but you can grow from there. So let me get you up to this level. Let me help you get up to this level so you can be a better husband, so you can be a better wife to me. It's a pruning process.
Yeah.
So we can become one flesh. That means one flesh meaning we thinking alike. We moving alike.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So let's take it back to the singles, because some of y'all ain't gonna like this, but some of y'all still single because you searching for the wrong thing. You searching for somebody to complete you, instead of somebody to walk alongside with you, and all while becoming complete in Christ.
Yeah, and you become complete along the walk.
Yes.
Most people, and you never know how healed you are until you get inside another relationship and you realize, well, maybe my wounds ain't so healed after all. Mm-hmm. And then that it becomes, do that person, that the one I'm involved with, do they love me enough to walk through this healing process with me to get the best version of me? Because a lot of times you meet, like I said, we meet imperfect people, and we got on our YouTube channel, our banner is thing. I saw that you were perfect and I love you. So then I saw that you were imperfect
and I love you.
And I love you even more. Mm-hmm. Meaning that we know that you're imperfect, so I love you more. Why? Because I see your flaws. And now the process: do I love you enough to go through these flaws with you to make it on the other side, so I can get the best version of you? Mm-hmm. Now I can help you, but I don't want to. Most time we don't want to do the work for the person. We want to help them, so we want to go through the process so we can get the best version of the person that we're with. And a lot of times people quit and they give up. And relationships that could have worked if you really know how to work the relationship, but we don't want to go through the process. Then we've realized that somebody else is willing to go through the process and they end up reaping the rewards of some work that we put in that we didn't want to finish. So now you got a woman that's got divorced from a man, and now you looking at her like she's living her best life. And you're like, why you couldn't do that with me? It's because you wasn't willing to go through the process. So many times we want to calm the people down. We want to isolate the people from growth. We want to hinder them from growth, meaning maybe we don't want them to work. And idle hands is the devil's playground. So I think all man and woman need to stay moving, stay growing, stay learning. And if we're in a relationship, the first thing we need to learn is how to make our relationship work. How to seek God first and then make our relationship work, because out of everything else gonna spring from that. We work on God, He gonna help our marriage. Then we work on our marriage and our relationship, and all of a sudden we got a clear mind, we got clarity, then we had to make more money.
Yeah. So going back to the one mindset, it creates problems, because you might even be in a relationship that might be good for you, but now you put so much pressure on that person to be the one.
Yeah.
Instantly.
Unrealistic expectations.
You got unrealistic expectations, and you constantly disappointed because they not who you want them to be right then and there, or they not the one that you expected them to be right then and there. But God plan was never about finding a flawless person. It's about choosing to love and grow with somebody daily.
Yeah.
It's a daily thing. It's not an instant thing. Anything instant is never good.
Yeah. And I would have never looked at me or my wife as what we doing today. Even like talking to you on these videos, I didn't like to talk. You wouldn't even catch me doing videos like this. But who would ever thought that I would grow into this person out here doing videos with y'all? We're really just doers. My wife, she's a little, but really, I'm just a person who's put my head down and just live my life and do what I want to do. Live my life, and God said, come out here and teach these people, because I'm somebody like I said, I put my head down and I just do what I do. But first and foremost, the thing that I do best is everything I touch, I want to learn how to do it great. Mm-hmm. I apply that basketball, that sports mentality to everything. If you want to get better, you got to get practice. So practice in relationship is what? Learning how to talk, learning how to communicate, learning emotional security and all this stuff. Mm-hmm. That's the process of relationship. So I'm going to do whatever I need to do to make whatever I'm touching, whatever's in my hand, the cards that I'm dealt, work.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna do whatever it needs to do to make what I got work. just like playing spades. I want to do the best, play the best hand I got with these cards that I'm dealt.
Yep. So I got a question for y'all. Have you or somebody you know ever said she changed after the wedding? Well, he's not the man I thought he was. You know why that is? It's because you married potential without preparing for process.
Yeah, that's a process. And a lot of times, here's the thing: a lot of times the process be ugly. Like we said, as long as it's not abuse, as long as it's not all the process is not always sweet. The process is not always sweet. The process is, any kind of, that's like dreads. You go dreads, you growing out dreads, you go through the ugly stage.
Yeah.
And then bam, once your dreads start growing, bam, whoa. Same thing with digging for diamonds. You got to dig deep for diamonds. You got to do a lot of work for diamonds. Then bam, you find that shiny little rock, and you're like, whoa, it's small, but the process is worth a whole lot. Just going through the process was worth more than the stuff. And that's what that's what marriage is about. If you can go through the process, but you want to what? You want to go through the process with the right tools and the right frame of mind. Because if you're going through the process without the right tools and without the right frame of mind, then you may very well be just wasting your time.
Yeah. Absolutely. So with that said, we want y'all to know that becoming one flesh is not going to be romantic. Yeah. It's not going to be all glitz and glam, like you said. It's going to take going through some things sometimes. It's not a beautiful thing sometimes. It's not romantic, but it's refining. A lot of people confuse emotional intensity or sexual chemistry with spiritual unity.
Yeah.
Becoming one means unifying values. Yeah. You got to merge finances.
And that's a big one.
Yeah.
Because like I said, the two of you should become and here's the thing about money too. I know a lot of people say you don't want to do the money, you don't want to merge the finance. That's why it's good to marry young when you don't have nothing. Because the older you get, the more value you got, the more finances you build, then the more likely you're not going to really become one with anybody. Mm-hmm. You're going to keep marriage and money separated. Mm-hmm. You got a lot of people talking about here prenup and all that stuff. They keeping marriage and money separated. They want to put out prenup because they know that eventually they're going to cheat, and they know that they self-control is going to eventually fall out of place. Yeah. But you got to merge values. Yeah. You got to merge finances. Mm-hmm. Those are two things that the only way you can become one is you do that. Now, values, ultimately, your different values are going to have to be a little different, mm-hmm. but the core values are going to be the same. Y'all finance is going to be in the same spot. You both going to know about the money.
Yeah, and if you out here dating or even about to, you got a fiance, these are some good key points. These are some things that you should write down. Do our values, unify? Like my baby said, they're not going to be perfect, but they should align in some kind of ways, Am I ready to merge my finances?
Yeah. That's a big thing.
Yeah, it is. And then we got the blending of families. So maybe one person got kids, maybe they don't, maybe nobody got kids, but you still blending families. You blending your family with their family. Is our families gonna click? Your family, you gotta meet them.
And so when families don't click, that really puts a strain on the relationship. That really hinders both people from becoming one flesh.
Yeah, and preparation is important. So you're gonna want to learn conflict resolution, because that's one thing you're gonna have some conflicts in your relationship. Whether it's healthy conflict, sometimes it might not be healthy conflict because you don't know what that look like. But as you grow again,
but like I said, we do know what it look like, as long as there's not abuse. Yeah, there's not name calling.
No, I'm not meaning that. What I mean is learning conflict resolution. You're gonna have conflict. Yeah. And you might not know that. You might be trying not to have any conflict, but that's not healthy.
No, it ain't.
You need conflict is gonna happen, and that's a healthy relationship with healthy conflict. Like I said, so learning conflict resolution, yes.
Disrespect, calling out your names and stuff, and physical abuse, then a lot of other conflict and stuff that you need to learn to work through, because it's the person who can stand up in a conflict without the next one is choosing love over feelings.
Yes.
To stand up in a conflict and choose love over their feelings, because your feelings can get you in a lot of trouble. Mm-hmm. Your feelings can make you mess up love that was meant to be, but your feelings got in the way. Mm-hmm. So we gotta watch and we gotta choose our love over feelings. Do I want to be powerful, or do I want to stay connected with my partner? And staying connected, you know, like I say, that keeps the electricity together. And true oneness is often forged in conflict, not comfort. Too often we think that, oh yeah, we're gonna be more connected. We don't fight anytime. Me and my wife, we didn't for years we didn't fight until we did. And then we did start fighting. We said, oh, this is conflict.
Not fighting.
But you know, conflict.
Yeah.
Talking, you know what I'm saying, all this stuff. We said, oh, this is conflict. Okay, we say now this is different. What can we do to work? We gotta work on this because this is different. This is not we was all the fit. Now we're getting offensive. So we got to work on this conflict because I know we can either grow through it or we can go through it. And if we go through it, we both gonna come out on the resentment end of the stick. So we got to grow through this. So how can we work through this? And that's what I think a lot of people got to do when in conflict. You got to realize that conflict is a chance for you to become one. It's discomfortable, but it's a chance for you to become one if there's not violence and disrespect.
Just like for example, you expect honeymoon vibes after you got married, but things was different. Instead, you got pride wars, miscommunications, and you got slammed with identity law. So you know,
and that because
expectations.
And parts of that because we forget that now that you married, we got to actually work on being married. We need to go to school for this. Like you go to school for, I don't know why. I really don't know why they don't teach more about relationships in school. But in a way, I kind of do because everything they teach you in school, it's not the stuff that you really use in life anyway. Like they don't teach you about finance. They teach you a little bit, but a lot of times you don't learn about finances. You don't learn about investment. Why? Because they don't want you to really be good at it. They don't teach you so much about relationship because they would rather you not be in a successful relationship. Society is designed for you to do the bare minimum. So if you really want to make things better than they are, you got to do the extra. You got to go the extra mile. Because see, you can go to high school. You can go to high school and you get out of high school and you expect to get a job. But no, it's the people who say, no, I want more than just a job. I want to go the extra mile. I want to make it work. I want to make more money. So they go to college. And that's the same way the relationship. I can get in this relationship. I can just wing this relationship. Or no, I want a good relationship. I want a healthy relationship. So I got to work. I got to go to school on this relationship to make it work.
Yeah, and that's what, I do want to mention too. A lot of people know early whether or not they're going to be the type to want to get married. You know, you be knowing that when you're a little younger. I want to get married, or some people don't, think about getting married. But if you're one of those ones who thinking about getting married, I want to be married, go ahead and start, preparing for that.
What does it look like?
What does it look like?
Even though you might have thought you saw, but it's different when you get inside and you playing the game.
Yeah, I mean, like sports and stuff. You get into that when you're young, you learn it, you master it, you become a great. So you want to put that same energy towards learning about marriage and what marriage
building
looks
a healthy
like. Building and knowing who you are and what a healthy marriage looks like. And like I said, a lot of the times we already know that we want to get married, so we can go ahead and start, doing research or something. Because marriage takes work. It's not easy.
It takes work to become one, but it's hard to become one if you don't know who you are. So you got to find out who you are. Who am I? Who is Lamont? Who is Tonya? Who am I? So I can know that
and what I bring.
To the table. Who am I? What I bring to the table.
Yep. So Ephesians 5:31-32, Paul calls marriage a profound mystery. It represents Christ and the church. A lot of us enter into marriages broken, insecure, or incomplete. And we expect for our spouse to fix it.
It's not our partner's job to fix us. It's our partner can help us fix ourselves, but nobody can fix you. You gotta fix yourself.
Yeah, so if you know that you broken, you insecure, incomplete, don't go into a marriage.
Expecting somebody to complete you.
Don't go into a marriage until you whole or healed. I don't think that you should. Even though, that can still work out.
Yeah. But like
it can still work out, but to nip a lot of stuff in the bud, I ain't saying don't, be in a relationship, but just scale back and say, babe, I need to do some work on myself, because there's some things that I don't be vulnerable. Yeah. There's some things that I'm still dealing with that I don't want to project on you.
Yeah.
So, let's hold off.
And I think too often people fail to realize this. If I'm working on something, then the more I work on that thing, the quicker I can get the results on that thing that I'm working on. So if I say I'm working on myself, I'm working on my insecurities. I'm working on my broken wound from past relationships. If I'm saying I'm working on that, the more days I can put in practice to work on that, maybe I'm just doing 30 minutes. The more times I can work on that thing that I say I need to work on, then I will get healed a whole lot quicker. The more times I let days and time go by where I'm not working on that thing, I'm being, like I said, you either being pushed down the right road or you being pushed down the wrong road. But either road you go down, you're gonna be ahead or you're gonna be behind. So you got to choose how long you're gonna be behind or how far you're gonna be behind based on the time you lapse in doing the thing that you say you need to work on. Insecurities, you do work on it every day. The more days you can work on it, the quicker you'll get the results that you want. Yeah. That's in anything in life.
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why marriage counseling is in play before marriage.
Yeah, premarital counseling.
Yeah, you get to talk about all the things, and you can also discover if you still heal. So go through that process as well. Don't skip that process if you're planning on getting married.
But I that's good, marriage. But like I say, you must, after you get, people do go to the marriage counselor. That's good, but people fail to realize that marriage counselor on a short period of time. You should be counseled throughout your relationship. You should be going to do check-ins throughout your relationship because they teach you what you do with marriage, but then ain't nothing like when you actually in the game. You're like, dang, boy, what were they talking about this? But now I'm playing in the game. I need a little extra coach to be getting coached by somebody who's successfully doing what you want to do.
Yeah.
And like I say, me and my wife, we've been married 20 years and we've been through a lot. We haven't been through all that extra drama stuff, but we've been through a lot of stuff that normal, healthy, or growing relationships go through. And I know that what a lot of people's missing in their relationship is the skills to do it. Because the only difference between the healthy relationship and the non-healthy relationships is the skills they got to use. They go into the same conflict, but the skills they got in their arsenal helps them get through conflict, get through the relationship, the process a whole lot quicker, and they can still keep the love intact.
Yeah. So we don't want you to get it twisted. Becoming one flesh don't mean losing yourself. It means becoming one in purpose and direction.
Yeah.
So sometimes a spouse might feel like they lost themselves after they got married. And that's because they never found themselves
before marriage. Yeah.
So again, doing that self-work means a lot.
And like I said, not so much trying to smother. So many times, like we want to smother our partner. We want to isolate our partner to a thing. Like we want to isolate women to taking care of the kids. We want to isolate them to, I want you to be a stay-at-home mom. But a lot of times when we put people in one category and we try to isolate them, we don't get the full version of the person because we trying to smother their creativity. We trying to smother, especially with a woman. A woman is a man's helper. We don't want to smother a woman so we got her just being a childbearer. And we don't get the whole version of a creative woman that can potentially probably be smarter than men. But because we put people in one position and we expect them to grow and we don't get to see their full self and they don't get to actually become whole, they get lost because they in a position that they really probably didn't want to be in the first place.
Yeah.
It was like thrown upon them.
Yeah. And then you go searching for what your wife could give you, your helpmeet could be giving you elsewhere, like from your homeboys or from somebody who don't even really know,
Yeah.
I mean, you smothering your helpmeet, so you're not getting
the full
woman, the whole woman that she can be to you. So again, you go looking elsewhere for that. The answers to some things that you might need help with that your wife right at home can give you.
And she done got lost, or your partner got lost in themselves because they couldn't be themselves. The goal of a relationship, when two become one, two people should bring out the best version of each other. If you're in a relationship, you're in a marriage, and the person is bringing out the worst version of you, then you need new skills. Or number one, if it's abusion there, you might be in the wrong marriage.
Yeah. So I mean, it really takes things to become one flesh. Practical process.
Yeah.
Die to selfishness.
Yeah.
So that need to die. And that's another thing. When you become one that owe you.
You thinking about both of us. When I go, when me and my baby eat, my baby gets something to eat, she think about me. There is not a time that she don't do something for her that she thinks about, unless she get a nail done. But well, too, she do trips too. She think about herself.
I be thinking about
no trip. She think about herself because I say I don't want to go on a trip this month.
He just don't know he don't want to go.
No,
he be needing it. If I leave it up to him, he gonna stay at home and work.
No.
So I gotta force the vacays. Let's go. And then when we get there, he forced the outdoor things to do. I be wanting to chill. He be like, no, let go here, let go there. No. And when we go, I've learned to go because every time he say, let's go do something, it be so good.
Yep. But like we said, first you gotta deny. Let the selfishness die. You are becoming one flesh. So you need to start thinking what as me, her and I, me and him. You got to think about, I got a partner now. So everything you do, you should be thinking about them. Mm-hmm. Do they want some water? I know I'm thirsty. Oh, baby, are you thirsty? Mm-hmm. I know I'm hungry. Baby, are you hungry? I know I need a new pair of shoes. Baby, do you need a new pair of shoes? Mm-hmm. I know I need a new car, baby. But do you need a new car? But we can't, that's why I said the first thing is you got to deny. Now I'm not thinking about myself. I'm thinking about me and my partner, or me and my kids.
Yeah.
Me and my family.
Yeah. The next, we got to practice communication, not assumption. Never assume.
Yep. And like I said, two things that you can't just assume. You can't just give somebody. And that's the way people love and affection. Love and affection is two things you just can't assume. I assumed that we was having enough. Mm-hmm. I assumed that I was loving you right. Mm-hmm. And the best way to get assumptions out the way, because assumptions kill, is to communicate. Be open and honest what I want from you in this season. Like this season, babe, right now, what I need for you, I just need you to help me do this. And once you tell a person to do, don't be like, well, I know I said that, but I didn't know I needed that too. You gotta stick to what you said, what you told the person you need in this season. Mm-hmm. So open communication and tell a person exactly what you need. The more blunt, like I said, the more vision you can write plain. So those that read it, the Bible said, write the vision, make it plain. So those that read it can run with it. Yeah. So the plainer you can make it, the better off you will get what you want in this season. Yeah. And you can start becoming one flesh. Practice communication, not assumptions. Yeah.
Also, you want to stay committed through conflict. Okay, so don't go out there cheating or nothing just because you upset with your wife or your husband. Stay committed.
And stay in it. The goal is to stay inside the relationship. Stay inside the house. Stay inside the room. Stay inside with a conflict. You might have to turn your back. You might say, well, you walk out the room. But don't leave out the room for more than 5 minutes. The goal of conflict is to get in conflict and quickly get back and make a compromise in what you guys are conflict about. That's the goal. To quickly get back to the loving state. Not getting your feelings, but stay in the love. Not getting your feelings, but stay in the loving state.
Yeah. Stay committed through conflict. Yeah. And that's not just infidelity or nothing. Just stay committed on things that you said that you was going to do. If you told your wife you're going to go buy her lunch or a pretty dress, don't not do it because you done got upset with her. And stay committed.
And don't get defensive when they confront you about something you said you're going to do. Okay. Let the defense go. Get out of your feelings. Stay in love. Because you can be powerful or you can be connected, but you cannot be both. The moment you step in, want to be your powerful self, want to force your perspective on people, that's the moment that you lose the connection. Yeah. And too many missed loss of connection leads to resentment. Then all of a sudden, resentment builds up in a relationship, and all of a sudden, we no longer want to be together. Yeah. Because now we prideful. And we become stubborn mules that we don't want to let our pride go. And it's best to just let the relationship go because I don't want to let my pride go.
Mm-hmm. What it really takes to become one flesh, you also got to submit to God and each other. Mm-hmm. Ephesians 5:21. You want to forgive quickly, love unconditionally, and please remember, to grow spiritually together. That's very important.
And as I look at my wife and I, like I said, different seasons. We've been going on 20 years. We both in our 40s and stuff. So a lot of times, many times in your 40s or early on, the earlier you can get on your spiritual journey together, the healthier your relationship is going to start being. And many people, like I said, their season, you got the little party season. Everybody go through their season. You had the little party season. You had your the conflict season. Then after the conflict season, you get into the spiritual season. Mm-hmm. And the spiritual season of most people, most couples' life, when you've been together 20, 30, 40 years, or even 15 years, that's the real growth area. When you actually start putting God in your marriage, God as the forefront of your marriage, that's when growth and all that starts really growing. Because you're growing spiritually. Spiritually, the growth is the closest you're going to grow to each other when you spiritually grow with each other.
Yeah, to God.
And the man is the teacher.
Yeah.
The man is the teacher. I also want to make sure that the man is the teacher. The man is the one that set the tempo of the house. So the man should be leading in most of these areas, because if the woman leads the man, then the man's going to feel like this woman is his mama. Mm-hmm. If the woman got to lead the man about conflict resolution, about being responsible, then the man's going to feel like the woman is his mother. And men, we don't want that. We want to make sure we take in charge of the things that need to be growing our relationship. We want our relationship to work, then we got to do our part to make sure it works. We got to work on it. We got to make sure our wife is listening to things that she's being pruned to be a good wife, or she's being pruned to be a bad wife. That's why it ain't good to let your wife be sitting at home idle watching TikToks and not giving her nothing to do. Mm-hmm. Because idle hands are the devil's playground. Yeah. When you idle at anything, you just complacent, or you just go. You're not got nothing going in your life. You're not driving for your purpose, and that is the devil's playground. That's when comparisons start coming in. That's when you start spending all your money because you're looking at everybody else's lifestyle and you wish you could do that. So you're overindulging in things that you wouldn't normally be indulging in. And you stop becoming one. You become one with the streets, or you become one with the internet, and you stop becoming one with your partner. So work on spiritual growth, work on committing to growing a healthy relationship.
Yeah, there should never be one person growing spiritually and emotionally while the other one is stagnant. Oneness requires mutual effort.
Yeah.
Okay.
And did you hear what she said? There should never be one person growing spiritually. Meaning they going to church, they working on God, they working on healing themselves. They maybe got a coach. Maybe the wife or one of the persons going to a coach. Maybe they watching personal development videos and stuff. And all of a sudden, one person is not doing that. You don't want to be doing it because you eventually outgrow your partner. And when you outgrow your partner, resentment starts to build up, and you looking back like, well, you ain't doing this. I'm working on healing. You ain't doing nothing. I'm going to church and you ain't doing nothing. So that's why you always, for men, we want to make sure that we're the leaders and we pulling our wife, or we're showing our wife the way we leading by example. Or if you got the wife, she leading by example. Because we got to realize marriage is not about perfection. It's about process. And when we don't arrive at one flesh during the process, then we're not becoming that during the process.
All right, so if you still waiting on the one,
you don't.
Make sure you becoming the kind of person who can walk in covenant. And if you already married, choose oneness, not comfort, not convenience, but unity in Christ. Yeah. And before we go, we got some reflection questions that we want you to reflect upon. Are you more focused on finding the right person or becoming the right partner? If you're single, are you focused on finding the right person or becoming the right partner? Also, what areas of your marriage, if you're married, still need becoming one? That's what that means. What areas of your marriage still need us becoming one? Where has emotional immaturity stopped you from truly unifying?
Yeah. And I think the emotional maturity is a big part of people's growth, because I see so many people, they want to do all this spiritually growth, they want to do all this growth, but when your emotions is the first state of growing, you got to learn how to get your emotionally maturity together. Meaning you can control your emotions. You don't let outside factors control your inner side emotions. And a person who can do that is a spiritually and not is a very mature person. The person that controls their emotions is the most mature person. And if our emotions are not intact, then it's hard for us to grow a lot of areas of my life. Now, you can go out here and make a living for yourself, but emotions will hinder you from growth. Emotions won't hinder you from making a living. You'll make a living, but you'll realize that you can't keep a relationship. You can't stay. Every guy or every woman you meet, you end up messing it up because emotions are not intact. So you get your emotions in control, and all of a sudden you realize your spiritual self start growing. You more clarity in every other area of your life gets on the right page because you get your emotions intact.
Oh, to wrap things up, remember, God's words call us to become that one through process, partnership, and purpose. 3 P's. If you can't get through the process, don't go to the next 2.
Yeah.
All right.
Don't be in partnership with a person that's not on purpose.
Right. And if you got value out of this, because we're wrapping it up, bye-bye. Like, comment, share. And another thing, Lamont and I, again, we're so passionate about this that we created a course. Visit lovercoaching.com. Check it out.
Yeah. And it's a lot. It gets you on the process.
Yes.
It gets you down the process of a healthy relationship. Because, like I said, if you don't know how to do a healthy relationship, we created the course to help you get on the process to starting a healthy relationship, so you can get on the road to creating a healthy relationship.
Yeah.
And the first way you get on the road to creating a healthy relationship is a change of your perspective.
Yes.
When you can change your perspective, the way you see things, then you can see things clearer, and you can actually make clearer decisions. You change your perspective, the lens you look at things through.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to start. You get 10 free videos.
Yeah. And this has been another episode of Visions of Love and Relationships. They had vision, and together they built the life that they love. Go build.
Go build. See you in the next one.
In the city lights, we shine so bright. Tonya and I, we're in the limelight, sharing stories on our podcast every night. Spreading love and soul, our words take flight. Talking about love, we keep it real and raw. Through the ups and downs, we stand tall. Our voices blend like a sweet harmony, touching hearts, creating unity. Dive deep into emotions, no filter inside. Tonya's honesty, Lamont's soulful insight. Exploring love's highs and lows. It's our mission, connecting souls to heartfelt conversation.